Hey everybody, Daniel from the Venza Dutch office. Thank you for being here. Another reaction video. With me, as always, Sean Shields from the Roswell office. And he's showing off his colors, true colors. He's nuts. All right, we got a couple of friends from the industry. He's just nuts, period. A couple of friends from the industry to share their raw reaction. They are in the hot seat. Let's find out who's with us. Let's start with you, Nick. Tell us about yourself.
Howdy, folks. Happy to be here. Nick Benz, Sensor Industries, based out of the greater Los Angeles area. I'm the VP of Operations. We do toilet leak detection and flood detection IoT systems for hospitality.
Right on. Good to have you, Nick. Austen, tell us about yourself.
Yep, Austen Asadorian here, VP of Sales at SevenRooms, a guest experience and retention platform for hotels and restaurants.
Great. Glad to have you gentlemen here. So, Sean's going to share his screen, and I got a question for you. Let's see what your reaction is to this topic. When you're ready, Mr. Shields. Okay. Well, we are big fans of Skift and their content, and this is a topic that there's a lot of conversations over here in Europe about this. The topic, remote work's negative side, heats up with European politicians, the idea of the always on kind of lifestyle, right? So the remote work, it's got all these positives that people like to tout, but then there's, as they say, the negative side, the dark side of it, which is always on. And so if you wouldn't mind just going down just a smidge, there's some conversations about switching off the right to disconnect. The Portuguese looking at creating a deputy minister of labor, talking about creating a right to disconnect for employees. So my question to you guys is, we've had a number of conversations on our reaction videos about the value of the staycation or the pleasure, bringing guests in. They can work from the hotel and then have the evenings off, and really catering to those pleasure or those staycation, workation guests. It's an interesting model. It's an interesting opportunity, especially with the reduction in business travel. So getting people to flesh out their stays, not just on the weekends. So my question to you is, can a hotel cater to those who are looking for an opportunity to totally switch off, as well as those who are looking for an opportunity to continue doing their work? The reason I ask is, if I go to an environment where I have the facility and it's right there and I can really plug in and I probably will be tempted to do that. Whereas if I just can't, I just won't, because I can't. Will it be possible for hotels to be able to cater to both, or is it a choice that they have to make with their facilities? Nick, what do you think?
I think this is a fine question. And I guess to reiterate for myself, I guess it's a little bit of like, hey, is this, trying to take too much on? Is this a jack of all trades, master of none conundrum, where if you're trying to be a true pleasure, asset, you really don't do either of them, better than, let's say, 70%. And I think that there's certainly a couple boxes that perhaps have fallen into that trap. That being said, with firsthand experience, I've been at, a few places that I was stunned by the separation between work play. And I think a lot of it comes down to this sort of nexus that the hospitality industry experienced in the last 10 years, where, engaging with the local fare and populace and endorsing, activities in restaurants and the lure of your locale. I think sort of putting that at the forefront, whether that's branding or advertising, or just, hey, make sure you check out, this cool coffee shop down the street. Those kind of things can help sort of separate, this sort of almost, prison cell, condition that can happen when you don't ever leave your room because there's a hotel bar and a hotel restaurant and a gym, and you'll just taxi to the airport and you'll be out of there. You kind of in the back of your mind, like, oh yeah, I did really want to check out that, single origin coffee shop down the street. And I noticed that they have farmers markets on Thursday evenings. And so like, I want to make sure that I'm there for that. And so when I've been in, some cool places that, I was just there for work, and I found that, it was more than just a place to put a head in a bed. I was able to turn off at 5, and that meant a lot. So I think it can be done.
All right. With the right kind of organization and thoughtfulness and for the guests. Great. Are you in agreement, Austen, or what are your thoughts with this? Is this something that can possibly be done at a property, catering to both sides?
Yeah, I think Nick nailed some really good points home. It's all about the identity of the property. And coincidentally, this actually is right in line with what I do for a living. It's understanding the folks that are inside of your establishment, right? Yeah. So there's a few different components. There's, as a hotel or a destination, how do you want to market yourself? Do you want to market yourself as business travel, leisure travel, tourist travel? Do you want to bring all these folks in, and can you accommodate them and their needs? But in many cases, whether you're doing that or not, you need to understand who the person is. And so one of the challenges all of these places has is they don't really understand who their guests are, down to why are they here and what are their needs. And so I think if a hotel can solve some of that and then provide them with guidance around, hey, here are some great places you can visit when you're not working. And oh, by the way, we have this great workplace for you here as well, whether it's in your room or in a business center where you can get your work done and have meetings and be productive. I'm of the mindset where people can work anywhere, anytime, as they see fit, so long as they do their job and they do it well. And so that's a little bit about how I think about it. The other piece is it sustainable? I think it's better than not. I mean, the industry has been pillaged in the last 2 years. And so it's important to provide access to everybody. And if you're in a position where you can get up and travel and see the world while still maintaining your job and supporting tourism, that helps everybody, right? The world goes round, and you need tourism to provide in certain markets. And so it's also part of our jobs as, societal members to take care of these places and to participate and help evolve. And so it starts with, yes, it certainly can be done. It certainly can be better. It's certainly up to the person and the business. It's not always going to be a match made in heaven, but I think if you make the most out of your situation, you'll find and strike a really nice balance between work and pleasure wherever you decide to go.
Yeah. Very great. I know I've had some experiences with places that try to think that they're catering towards people to work during the day, and it has just not been, conducive. And yeah, it's a fine line. A couple of years ago at the HT&G Europe event, there was a panel discussion about whether to offer Wi-Fi, period, and it was led by a cruise. The panel was made up of cruise industry experts, and their whole thing was, should we have a Wi-Fi on the cruise ships or not? Because I know we've all had people, workmates perhaps, say, yeah, well, I'm going on a cruise, so I won't be answering my emails. Right?
What was the consensus on that? What did they decide?
That the idea was that the younger generation is just not going to go on a cruise if there was no Wi-Fi. So it was just like the baby boomers, they may or may not use the Wi-Fi, but if you want to cater to younger generation, you just got stuff. Is what it was a takeaway.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, a chronological thing. I can say personally that, there are trips that I have planned where I will be working remotely, but, relaxing at night in cool new locations, because I know I can be a productive team member during the day. If I were to find out right now that location was, a off-grid sort of resort, I would have to probably cancel my trip.
Yeah.
So,
There you go. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your thoughtful comments. Sean Shields, I'm afraid to ask,
It's
Any
lunch.
thoughts?
It's lunchtime. I got to go. Work-life balance.
He's always got something. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching this reaction video, and we will see you next time.